The smell of shoe polish is still on your fingers. You carved this thing from a block of wood over the past few days, shaped it with a razor blade under the dim light of your cell. It looks real enough. Real enough to fool someone who has a gun pointed at them anyway. Real enough to get you out of here. You are 29 years old. You are locked inside the Lake County Jail in Crown Point, Indiana. It is March 3rd, 1934, and in approximately 15 minutes, you will either be a free man or a dead one. But before we get to that moment, before you press this fake pistol into the ribs of a guard and walk out of an escape-proof jail, you need to understand how you got here. How a kid from Mooresville, Indiana became public enemy number one. How the whole country learned your name. Let us go back. Almost 10 years earlier, you are 21 years old and drunk. It is September 6th, 1924. A Saturday night in Mooresville, Indiana. Your buddy Ed Singleton has a plan. There is a grocer named Frank Morgan who walks home with the week's receipts every Saturday evening. Singleton tells you it will be easy money. He gives you a bolt wrapped in a handkerchief and positions you in the shadows near the Christian church. When Morgan passes, you step out. You swing. The old man fights back harder than you expected. You are rolling on the ground when Singleton fires his pistol into the air. The gunshot alerts the whole neighborhood. Porch lights flicker on. You run. The next day, too stupid to understand what you have done, you wander into a pool hall and ask if Morgan is okay. Within 48 hours, you are arrested. Here is the thing that breaks you. Your father, the local deacon, convinces you to plead guilty. He tells you the courts will show mercy. They do not. You receive a sentence of 10 to 20 years at the Indiana State Reformatory. Singleton, who pleaded not guilty and went to trial, receives only 2 years. You are 21 years old. You tried to steal $50, and they took your entire youth. Something hardens inside you during those years behind bars. You transfer to the Indiana State Prison at Michigan City, supposedly because of their better baseball team. The real reason is Harry Pierpont, Charles Mackley, Russell Clark, Homer Van Meter. These men are seasoned bank robbers, and they become your teachers. They school you in the art of Hermann Lahm, a former Prussian army officer who turned bank robbery into military science. You learn about escape routes measured to the 10th of a mile. You learn about casing banks weeks in advance. You learn that every man has a role, driver, vault man, lookout, and nobody deviates. You also make a promise. When you get out, you will return the favor. You will get them out too. May 22nd, 1933. You walk out of Michigan City on parole. Your stepmother died while you were locked up. Your wife divorced you years ago. You have nothing waiting for you except a plan. Within weeks, you start robbing banks. Your first score comes on June 21st, 1933, at a bank in New Carlisle, Ohio. You walk in wearing a straw boater hat and a pressed suit. You vault over the teller counter with an athletic leap that will become your signature move. $10,000. In and out in minutes. More banks follow. Daleville, Montpelier, Bluffton. Each robbery funds the escape you have been planning. You bribe guards. You smuggle weapons. And on September 26, 1933, 10 men walk out of the Indiana State Prison using guns that you put in their hands. But here is the cruel irony. 4 days before their escape, you get caught. Police in Dayton, Ohio arrest you and ship you to a jail in Lima to await trial. You are so close. Your friends are free, and you are not. So they come for you. On October 12th, Harry Pierpont and 2 others show up at the Lima jail. They tell Sheriff Jesse Sarber they are officers from the Indiana State Prison, there to transfer you back for parole violation. When Sarber asks for their credentials, Pierpont pulls a gun. Sarber dies. You walk free. Now the real work begins. Your gang hits banks across the Midwest with surgical precision. Greencastle, Indiana, $75,000. Racine, Wisconsin, $27,000. The newspapers cannot get enough. They print your picture. They detail your daring. They call you names like Jackrabbit because of the way you leap over counters. The public, beaten down by the Depression, starts rooting for you. You are taking money from the banks that foreclosed on their homes. You are sticking it to the institutions that failed them. But not everyone is charmed. In East Chicago, on January 15th, 1934, a police officer named William O'Malley stands his ground during your robbery of the First National Bank. He shoots you in the chest. Your bulletproof vest saves your life. You shoot back. O'Malley dies. That changes everything. Now there is a body count attached to your name. Now it is murder. 2 weeks later, your luck runs out in Tucson, Arizona. A hotel fire exposes your gang. Firefighters recognize your associates from newspaper photos. Police arrest all of you. They seize 3 Thompson submachine guns, 5 bulletproof vests, and over $25,000 in cash. You are flown back to Indiana and deposited in Crown Point, the so-called escape-proof jail. The sheriff, a woman named Lillian Hawley, tells reporters you are not going anywhere. A prosecutor named Robert Estill poses for photographs with his arm around your shoulder like you are old friends. Everyone is confident. Everyone is wrong. Which brings us back to that block of wood, that razor, that shoe polish. On the morning of March 3rd, 1934, the guards unlock your cell for morning exercise. You are holding the carved pistol against your body. When the turnkey Sam Cahoon enters the exercise area carrying soap for the showers, you press the fake gun into his ribs. Your voice is calm, almost friendly. You tell him you will blow him apart if he makes a sound. Cahoon believes you. The other guards believe you. One by one, you take their keys. You march them into cells and lock the doors behind them. Another inmate, Herbert Youngblood, decides to join you. Together, you move through 5 doors to freedom. In the garage, you ask a floorman which car is the fastest. He points to Sheriff Hawley's black 1933 Ford V8. You take it. As you drive out of Crown Point, you are singing. You cross the state line into Illinois, which turns out to be a mistake. By driving a stolen vehicle across state lines, you have committed a federal crime. Now it is not just local cops looking for you. Now it is the Bureau of Investigation and a man named J. Edgar Hoover. For the next 4 months, you stay one step ahead of everyone. You rob more banks. Mason City, Iowa. $52,000. Though you take a bullet in the shoulder during the getaway. You raid police stations in Auburn and Warsaw, Indiana, walking out with machine guns, ammunition, and more bulletproof vests. You undergo plastic surgery to change your appearance, spending weeks recovering at a safe house in Chicago. The feds come close. In St. Paul, Minnesota, you shoot your way out of an apartment surrounded by agents. In Wisconsin, at a lodge called Little Bohemia, they nearly have you cornered. But the raid goes wrong. Agents open fire on 3 innocent civilians leaving the lodge in a car, killing one of them. Meanwhile, you and your gang slip out the back and vanish into the woods. Each escape adds to your legend. Each escape makes Hoover look like a fool. By July, you are living in Chicago under the name Jimmy Lawrence. You tell people you are a clerk at the Board of Trade. You have a new girlfriend named Polly Hamilton. Life feels almost normal. Then Polly introduces you to her landlady. Anna Sage is a Romanian immigrant who runs a brothel. The government is trying to deport her. She sees you as a way out. On July 19th, she contacts FBI agent Melvin Purvis with an offer. She will deliver America's most wanted man in exchange for help with her immigration case. Purvis agrees. On the evening of July 22, 1934, you take Polly and Anna to the Biograph Theater on Lincoln Avenue. The temperature outside is over 100 degrees. The theater is air-cooled. You buy tickets for a gangster picture called Manhattan Melodrama, starring Clark Gable. You do not notice the men in suits gathering outside. You do not notice Purvis smoking a cigar near the ticket booth. You do not notice that Anna is wearing an orange skirt that looks red under the marquee lights, a signal to the agents that you are inside. The movie ends around 10:30. You walk out into the humid night air. Something feels wrong. You sense movement on your periphery. Your hand reaches for the Colt automatic in your trouser pocket. You do not make it. 3 agents fire. Bullets strike you in the side, in the back, in the neck. One exits through your right eye. You stumble into the alley next to the theater and collapse. You are 31 years old. At the Cook County morgue, they put your body behind glass so the public can view it. Thousands line up around the block. People dip handkerchiefs in your blood as souvenirs. Your father drives from Mooresville to collect you. You are buried at Crown Hill Cemetery in Indianapolis, the same city where you were born. Over the years, souvenir hunters chip away pieces of your gravestone. It has been replaced multiple times. Anna Sage receives only half of the reward she was promised. The government deports her anyway. She dies in Romania 13 years later. Someone chalks a poem on the sidewalk near the biograph. Stranger, stop and wish me well. Just a prayer for my soul in hell. I was a good fellow, most people said. Betrayed by a woman all dressed in red. The newspapers called you a Robin Hood. The FBI called you a menace. You never saw yourself as either. You were just a kid from Mooresville who tried to steal $50 and got sentenced to 20 years. Everything that followed was the logical consequence of an illogical punishment. In prison, you reportedly told a guard that you would become the meanest person anyone had ever seen when you got out. You kept that promise. 12 bank robberies, 3 jailbreaks, 10 dead, 7 wounded. A crime spree that terrorized the Midwest for 13 months and changed American law enforcement forever. Hoover used you as justification to transform his Bureau of Investigation into the FBI. New federal laws gave agents authority to carry firearms and make arrests. All because of you. Here is the final irony. Frank Morgan, the grocer you tried to rob back in 1924, the one who started all of this, he signed a petition for your early release from prison. He forgave you before you ever learned how to forgive yourself. You spend your whole life running, from Mooresville, from prison, from the law, from the consequences of a single drunk night in September. You run until there is nowhere left to run, until you step out of an air-cooled theater into a Chicago summer and find the entire weight of the federal government waiting for you. And in that final moment, as the bullets find their marks, maybe you think about the wooden gun, the one that got you out of Crown Point, the one that made you a legend. You carried it with you to your father's house after the escape, posed for a photograph with it in one hand and a real Tommy gun in the other. A piece of wood carved with a razor, blackened with shoe polish. That is all it took to humiliate an entire justice system. That is all it took to become immortal. Some people spend their whole lives trying to be remembered. You just needed 13 months and a fake pistol. If you stayed until the very end, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments whether you liked it or not. Your feedback really helps us improve. Leave a like, subscribe for more content like this, and on the screen you'll see another video I'm sure you'll enjoy. Big hug, and see you in the next time.